This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Friday, May 24th, 2024. We're so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I will bring you the latest Iowa Ag News headlines. It is time now for our closing market summary.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day, we are joined by Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net for our closing market summary. Curt, Friday before the start of a three-day weekend, what did we see take place in the grains?
Well, for Friday, we actually hung in there quite well. Usually these Fridays are kind of brutal for the most part, but survived Thursday's full moon. Oftentimes you see a full moon high. Hopefully that's not the case. Beans did kind of reverse down here midweek and didn't follow through just yet. So we got a 3-day weekend from us. Trade will resume Monday evening at 7 o'clock, but it's just not a 3-day weekend. It's, Memorial Day weekend. The significance of that is time to remember, particularly those who have served or part of the military part, but it's definitely remembered a lot of those people that passed. The other thing too is Indy 500. I've not been following it real close here, but I'm sure all my Indiana friends could give me an update here as we see that take place here Sunday, hopefully between the rains. Not too bad of a week, held in there. We've heard rumors of China buying anywhere from 1 to 3 cargoes of U.S. soybeans off the Pacific Northwest. Then later in the week here, we heard as high as 6 to 8, but there was really no confirmation of that. About the only confirmation we heard of was through social media, mainly, that China surrounded Taiwan and doing some practice maneuvers, which is not really cool because if something would happen and things would escalate, that could be devastating. And I think that's the risk we need to keep in the back of our minds here is someone unravels somewhere. We could see tensions escalate pretty quickly. Also, to Russia, Ukraine, Russia's, supposedly making some advance there. And so I think that helped the wheat market this week, along with more confirmation of a little frost damage and some extreme dry weather. The wheat crop's deteriorating a little bit, but we can't trust, what China's going to do. We can't trust what Russia's going to do. We can't trust the Russian numbers. On that wheat, on that frost, I've had guys call me up, said, Curt, man, my wheat's dead. It's flat. It's no good. And I called them back about 2 months later after they harvested. I said, what'd you do with that wheat? Disc it up or harvest it? Well, I harvested the best wheat I ever had. So you never know. But there is some production concerns going home into the weekend here. Front and center, of course, is the weather, and particularly you guys out in Iowa. Boy, it's been a brutal week for you. Here in central Illinois, we've been kind of fortunate, kind of missed the rain events. There's estimates 10 to 12 million acres to be planted as of the beginning of the week. About 7 in the east, about 5 in the west, and kind of feel the east could get caught up here a little bit over the weekend going into next week. Corn planting estimates are expected to be 85 to 87% complete as a nation. Soybean planting is anywhere from 65 to 70% complete as a nation, first time. A lot of replant taking place. Producers juggling a lot of balls. Planting, replanting, trying to spray. It's just one thing after another. So you got your work cut out. One other observation here this week, we saw the crush pace slow here. Crush is starting to improve a little bit. So the soybean meal gets a star for the week here. Soybean meal hung in there quite well and was the leader buying meal, selling oil on the spread. World vegetable oil market's just a little soft. On the weekly charts, corn, beans, wheat kind of held in there. On the wheat chart on the daily, we had a reversal to the downside here. Chicago wheat kind of struggling here. This some dollar level in this part. So we'll be up and running Monday evening and kind of see what the forecast shows there, Mark.
Let's go over to the other side of the ag marketplace to wrap things up. What happened with the cattle and hogs here on Friday?
Well, we'll have a lot of more information after this recording here at 2 o'clock. Cattle and feed report, 99%. Placements, 94.6. Now, the significance of that placement number, there's about an 18-point spread between the high and the low estimate. The low estimate's 86.5. The high estimate's 104. So hopefully it'll come in the middle there somewhere. So we'll see what the placement number shows. Marketing's 109. They're progressive on marketings. And the big thing is on the marketings, we've got some beef in the pipeline. We've got it moved. We've got a big cookout weekend here. Hopefully, if the rain holds out, see some cookout featuring. And the significance of this Memorial Weekend, too, is a lot of analysts are talking about record travel. People are going to be spending money, whether they have it or not. And that should help ethanol, and it should help out cookout featuring. Box beef virtually held in there. It was hanging at $2.95, went up to $3.10. Cash up $2 to $3 here this week. Fat market finished $2.65 higher. We followed through on the breakout to the upside technically. Hogs, they finished about 70 cents higher on the week, but the problem with the hogs is we're just caught in a little bit of a downtrend in through here. It seems like the lean index is stuck in this 91, 92 area. And we'll see if we can get some going here, see how the clearance goes this weekend. I know the brats were on sale this week, and I bought my 5-pack limit.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot to think about for our Iowa growers right now, whether it's planting, replanting, or maybe they want to talk marketing. What is the best way for them to get in touch, Curt, with someone at agmarket.net to find out more?
1-800-779-1515, agmarket.net. Click on Intel. That's where the team puts together some great information for you to digest.
Certainly a lot of resources from the team at agmarket.net. Curt, thank you so much for the time.
Well, you're welcome. You too, and have a safe and enjoyable one, everybody listening.
Thank you to Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net for our market summary. Let's turn now to the closing numbers, which can be found under the markets tab of our website at iowaagnet.com.
July corn closed up 3/4 cent at 4.64 3/4. July soybeans up 8 3/4 at 12.48 even. July soybean meal up $9.80 at 386.50. July soybean oil down 24 cents at 44.95. Chicago wheat down 3/4 cent at 6.97 1/4. Minneapolis wheat up 10 1/2 at 7.21 1/4. Minneapolis wheat up 8 3/4 at 7.52 3/4. Kansas City hard red wheat up 10 1/2 at 7.21 1/4. And July oats up 6 1/4 at 3.75 3/4. On the Merc, June live cattle up 17 cents at 183.70. August feeder cattle down $1.22 at 260.22. June lean hogs down 25 cents at 94.27. June pork cutout unchanged at 103.50. Class 3 milk closes down 7 cents at 19.89.
And that's our ag market coverage for today. It is time now to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soybean Checkoff. Up next, it is the latest Iowa Ag News headlines.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
It is time now for the latest Iowa Ag News headlines. Senators Chuck Grassley and Joni Ernst, both Iowa Republicans, are demanding the Environmental Protection Agency raise 2024 and 2025 renewable volume obligations for biomass-based diesel and advanced biofuels. The lawmakers joined Representative Randy Feenstra, also an Iowa Republican, in a letter to President Biden and EPA Administrator Michael Regan. The letter states, quote, "For the biomass-based diesel industry to continue to grow, it needs certainty and predictability, and this requires RVOs that adequately reflect the growth potential of biomass-based diesel production," end quote. The agency last year set RVOs at levels that lawmakers say fail to align with market conditions and production outlook, contributing to biodiesel plant closures in the Midwest, including in Carroll County, Iowa. The letter also touted reduced emissions of renewable fuels. According to a life cycle analysis completed by the Argonne National Laboratory using the GREET model, 100% biodiesel reduces emissions 74% compared to petroleum diesel. American Farm Bureau Federation President Zippy Duvall responded to markup and passage of the Farm Bill out of the House Agriculture Committee on Thursday. Duvall says, quote, "We applaud the bipartisan vote after 13 hours of rigorous debate, but know that tight margins in both chambers and a crowded congressional calendar will present challenges in the next legislative steps." Duvall urged the Senate Agriculture Committee to schedule a Farm Bill markup. National Farmers Union President Rob LaRue added, quote, "A successful Farm Bill needs broad bipartisan support. We applaud today's progress, but we know that significant improvements will be needed to advance this bill." At the NFU convention held in March 2024, delegates approved a special order of business outlining the organization's priorities for the 2024 Farm Bill, including advancing National Farmers Union's Fairness for Farmers campaign, maintaining and improving the farm safety net, and strengthening conservation programs. And Governor Kim Reynolds announced today that President Biden has approved Iowa's request for a major disaster declaration for Iowa counties where significant damage was sustained from widespread severe storms and flooding that occurred on May 21st, 2024. Federal Emergency Management Agency and the U.S. Small Business Administration are now authorized to provide assistance to Adair, Polk, Story, and Montgomery counties. Residents in these counties can now apply for FEMA's Individual Assistance Program, which provides disaster-affected homeowners, renters, and businesses with programs and services to maximize recovery, including assistance with housing, medical expenses, and legal services. Individuals and business owners who sustain losses in the designated areas can begin applying for assistance. Options for getting that assistance: disasterassistance.gov or downloading the FEMA app. Homeowners, renters, businesses, and nonprofit organizations whose property was damaged or destroyed by the disaster may also be able to apply for low-interest disaster loans from the SBA. In addition, small businesses, ag cooperatives, and private nonprofit organizations impacted by the severe weather may be eligible to apply for working capital loans. Applicants may apply online, receive additional disaster assistance information, and download applications at sba.gov/funding-programs/disaster assistance. And that brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok. And you can find our video content and previous episodes of AM/PM on our YouTube channel. Don't forget as well our free morning, midday, and closing market podcast, which are found on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. On behalf of Riley Smith, Dustin Huffman, and Andy Peterson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.